The Animated Anarchy series presents the Animated Showdown.
All right, what's up, everybody? It is Wednesday afternoon. We're here on your lunch break. This is Animated Showdown, episode number 23, part of the Animated Anarchy series. I am Kosum, your host, Dutchie, joined as always by Money E.
What up?
A eating Sean.
Sup?
And of course, Wildcard Dave.
Let's get it.
All right, we got a big show ahead of you. Some big battles here. Some heavy implications for a couple of them. We are going to have Johnny Quest taking on the Archie show. If Johnny Quest gets the sweep, they move into the upper echelon. If Archie gets swept, then they move into the bottom tier. We got the Boondocks taking on Archer. Again, if the Boondocks sweep, they move into the upper echelon. We got Life with Louie taking on Fillmore. We're also going to see Ben 10 take on Gravity Falls. If Ben 10 gets the sweep, they move into the upper echelon. And our main event is the Pink Panther show taking on the Super Friends. So basically, here's what's going to happen. We're going to get the randomizer. It's going to pick out our categories for us. These guys are going to judge. If a show wins 3-0, it's 30 points. 3-1 is 20 points. 3-2 is 10, and then 5 for the loser. If you are swept, you lose 10 points. So without any further ado, we'll get this screen shared up here. All right, can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. One click. And all right. Dave, how do we feel?
I like it.
All right. So
My favorite one is first.
Yeah. So all right. So we got animation style, cultural impact, memorable moments, originality, and character development. So, and by the way, this is kind of a rarity. We don't have an anime battle here, but Dave's still going to give it his best efforts anyway.
Yep.
So, all right, Sean, how do we feel?
Not bad. Better than Saturday's lineup.
I disagree with that, but
Well, yeah, you were the only one that liked Saturday's lineup.
yep. I like this one too.
Now, the thing is, how many of these categories are we going to use? Or how many are we going to need? Is the more appropriate question.
At the very least, maybe 4.
All right, so Eric is now predicting that any of the shows that need a sweep are going to get there.
There might be 1.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get this thing started with our first battle, which is Johnny Quest taking on the Archie show. Johnny Quest 1-0 in the division of Pat Skelly. 30 points, by the way. And then, of course, The Archie Show 0-1, negative 10 points in the division of Raven Finley. Now, the first category, obviously, is animation style. We got Johnny Quest, which obviously is Hanna-Barbera. But Dave, this is your favorite category, so you get to start. Who wins it here?
I'm going with Johnny Quest. I just felt like the artistic style, the realism look that they had going for it. I feel like the backgrounds were more detailed as well. There was very light into the animations as well. I feel like it was a little more cinematic too. So I feel like it was higher production value as well. Nothing against the Archie show. I just feel like it was very limited to its animation style.
All right, fair enough. All right, Sean, go ahead.
I gave this one to Johnny Quest. The animation is a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, a lot more detail, and I just think the Archie show is just kind of like super generic for animation, super simple.
Right. By the way, both shows from the same time period because Johnny Quest was around in, I think it was 1968, as was the Archie show.
Yep.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with these guys. I think the Archie show wasn't made to be known for anime style.
Right. All right. 1-0 Johnny Quest, 2 more for a sweep. We move on to cultural impact. Now, one of the things that we do have to talk about here, obviously the Archie show based on the Archie comics. Now, not as successful as the Archie comics, but based on the Archie comics. Now, also Johnny Quest has been brought back a few times because it's part of that Hanna-Barbera legacy. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Sean?
I gave this one to Johnny Quest. I think it kind of just, had a more shock and awe when it first came out for the style of show it was at the time against all the others.
Yeah.
And, it was very captivating, very intriguing. And the Archie show, to me, just kind of felt like I should have just read the series or the comics.
Right. All right, Eric?
Yeah, I went with Johnny Quest too. The fact that they brought it back sealed it for me too.
Okay. All right, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Archie on this one. I just feel like for impact, I feel like it's musical chart topper Sugar was pretty influencing for pop culture. Yeah, so that's why I kind of went with that for impact.
All right. Well, Johnny Quest is up 2-0. One more and they sweep. We move on to memorable moments. Whose moments were more memorable, Dave?
I'm gonna go with Johnny Quest here. I think their episodes had more of a lasting impact on me. I believe, in my opinion.
All right. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Johnny Quest too. I think because it's more story arc. There's more moments to be said.
All right. Sean?
I also went with Johnny Quest. Just the dynamic of the show gave it more ability to have memorable moments than the Archie show did.
Okay. They're going to get the 3-0 sweep. They're going to get to 30 points. They are show number 11 to move into the upper echelon. And the Archie show is whatever number show it is to move into the bottom tier. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next battle, which is the Boondocks taking on Archer. Boondocks 1-0, 30 points in the division of Danielle Davis. If they sweep, they get then they will move into the upper echelon. Archer 0-1, but 5 points in the division of Joshua Allen. And we start with animation style. And Eric, we're going to start with you.
I went with Bonkers, right?
Boondocks.
Boondocks. I just thought,
Bonkers is a way different show.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a show. Wow. Yeah, I went with Boondocks. I just thought it was cleaner and more better.
All right, Dave.
I went with the Boondocks here. I think their style was pretty influenced by Japanese animation, anime. So I thought they had pretty good fluid motion, especially during some fight scenes that they produced. Yeah, so I feel like after season 2 and onwards, I feel like it also increased in its quality of animation as well. So I thought they had a smooth, jazzy, shadowy type atmosphere, and I liked their artistic style.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, Boondocks takes this one from me as well.
All right, they're up 1-0. They're 2 away from the sweep. We're going to move on to cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Sean?
I gave this one to Boondocks just for like a cultural reason.
Okay.
That's all I want to really say about it.
All right, Dave.
This one was tough because I think this one's a close matchup. But I am going with Boondocks here. I just think it's more polarizing. I think it creates conversation between people. It's got its place in American pop culture as well. I think it also directly impacts a certain culture a little deeper. So I think it has more of an impact on certain demographics and whatnot.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, I went with Boondocks here too.
All right, they're up 2-0. One more, and then they sweep. And don't screw this up, you idiot. All right, we move on to memorable moments. Whose moments were more memorable, Eric?
Boondocks. I just found that there's more action and more story to it.
All right, Sean.
This one was hard for me because I like both shows a lot, and they both have a lot of good, memorable moments. But I think the Boondocks takes it just because I don't know their moments almost seem, even though it's kind of like a fictional show, it feels real.
Yeah.
And like Archer just kind of, you get the quirky James Bond type vibe. So
Right.
to me, I think the Boondocks deserves this one.
Okay. All right, Dave.
Yeah, I agree with these two. The Trial of R. Kelly episodes, I thought those were pretty hilarious. The Return of the King one. You got the Uncle Ruckus. I think that character is completely hilarious and memorable. So I feel like there's a lot of episodes and different moments in different, and they tackle different things. And they also bring in like sometimes like a little bit of reflections of the African American lifestyle in America. And so I think that's pretty memorable as well. So that's why I went with the Boondocks.
All right, they're going to win it 3-0. They're going to get the 30 points. They're going to move into the upper echelon themselves. So now that is 12 shows that have moved into that upper echelon. we move on to the next battle, which is Life with Louie taking on Fillmore. Both shows are 0-1 with 5 points, so one of them's looking for their first victory. Life with Louie in the division, again, of Danielle Davis. Fillmore in the division of Nick Visco. Animation style is up first. Eric, go ahead.
I went with Life with Louie. I thought the animation was better.
Okay. All right. Sean, go ahead.
I actually went with Fillmore here. I just like that, kind of not complete, semi-complete style they went with.
Right.
And like Life with Louie was kind of creepy in a sense.
Yeah, I got you.
Good animation, but I don't know. It's just an odd animation form to use.
All right, fair enough. All right, Dave, you're going to break the tie here.
I actually went with Life with Louie. I thought it had a little more polished animation and expressive animation, in my opinion.
All right, Life with Louie gets the first category. 1-0, 2 away from a sweep. But we move on to cultural impact. And this is this is funny because Life with Louie, obviously based on the career of Louie Anderson. You have, and then you have Fillmore, which is one of those Disney animated shows, which, by the way, is not available on Disney Plus. But who takes cultural impact here, Dave?
I think I'm going with Life with Louie here. I just think it was highly decorated. It won 2 Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Performer in the animated program. I just think it has some relatability to it as well. And I think it's also ranked among the other classics like Hey Arnold or Doug. So I think it has some global popularity to it, and it definitely left its impact.
Yeah. All right. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Life with Louie too. It just had a bigger impact on and globally.
All right. So Eric also. All right, Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Life with Louie here too.
All right, they're up 2-0. I mean, these battles are going by pretty quick. It might just also be because we're also kind of paying attention to something else. But all right, Life with Louie is up 2-0. One more for a sweep. Memorable moments. Who had the more memorable moments, Sean?
I gave it to Life with Louie because that show was kind of just more. It was better, more. Sorry. It was like family oriented, and it was done very correctly. In my opinion.
Okay. All right, Dave?
Yeah, I went with Life with Louie here too. I just thought it was definitely like heart and storytelling into this about his relatable childhood experiences like bullying, crushes, family dynamics, and you felt that on an emotional level. And so I thought the moments were more memorable because of that.
Yeah. All right, Eric?
Yeah, I went with Life with Louie. There was just more memorable moments in that show.
All right, they're going to take it here. By the way, this is the nicest we've ever talked about Life with Louie. Usually we crap on it, but
Yep.
They win it here. They're going to get the sweep. They're going to get the 30 points. Fillmore is going to lose 10. So just like Archer, they go from 5 points to -5. So we are going to move on to the next battle, which is going to be Ben 10 versus Gravity Falls. And again, if Ben 10 gets the sweep here, then Ben 10 will move into that upper echelon. Ben 10, 1-0, 30 points in the division of Joshua Cogman, who is related to Dave. And he falls 0-1, but with 5 points in the division of Dave's Uncle Joe. So this is the battle of Dave's relatives here. We start with animation style. It's Cartoon Network versus Disney Channel. Eric, you're going to start.
This was close, but I went with Ben 10. I just like the animation style better on that show. I found that more cleaner and more just more cleaner, detailed.
All right, and all right, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with Gravity Falls. I feel like it's a little more polished and consistent animation. I feel like there's a little more detail in some of the character designs. Ben 10 boasts a solid ambitious action animation, which is nice. But I feel like Gravity Falls really has a high quality, rich, lush backgrounds, and they have a supernatural atmosphere to it, and I think they did a really good job with their animation.
All right,
and consistency.
All right, Sean, 21 minutes in, you're breaking a tie.
I have Ben 10 winning this one. I think their animation just flows better, more fluent in, some of the transformation scenes. To me, Gravity Falls has got good animation, but something rubs me the wrong way when it looks like it's like a slideshow animation.
Okay.
To me, it looks like they're actually you're watching something being done on stage.
Yeah.
And that just throws me off. It's my only mark on their animation.
All righty. All right. 1-0 Ben 10. They're 2 away from getting the sweep. Well, we've already had 2 in this episode, which is why we're only 22 minutes in and on battle number 4. We move on to cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact? Like I said, Disney versus Cartoon Network. Eric, we're starting with you.
From the research I did, it seemed like Ben 10 had more of a cultural impact because of it was more of a cartoon and kids show.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going with Ben 10 here. I just feel like it's a huge global franchise. It's dominant. I feel like this show really captivated a huge audience, and it's got a huge reach. I feel like it was very marketable. So its cultural impact, I feel like, has left more of a stain than Gravity Falls has.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I agree. Ben 10. 2005 was just a great era for kids shows. So,
yeah, definitely.
Ben 10 was something. It was similar to the ones already around there, but it kind of blurred the lines of like, is he an ordinary kid or is he actually like a real superhero? Is it, it was a very intriguing show, and Gravity Falls is like a show I think you have to just have a certain type of humor for.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Very good. All right. Ben 10 is up 2 categories to nothing. 1 more, and they get to sweep, and then they're in the upper echelon with all the other shows, especially that have already made it tonight. Or today. Memorable moments is the next category. Whose moments were more memorable, Sean?
I got to stick with Ben 10. I think just the premise of that show makes it have so many more memorable moments, from, him getting his 10 different forms and fighting everything. And Gravity Falls is only memorable for making me cringe, if I'm being honest. So,
Well, all right. Eric.
Yeah, I went with Ben 10 too. I just like that show better, and there was more moments too that was more memorable. I don't think and there was any memorable moments in Gravity Falls that much.
All right. Dave.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Ben 10 here. The different aliens that he would transform into with the Omnitrix and it being random at first definitely was pretty exciting for each episode. You never knew what you were going to get into. The villains that he would face was pretty recognizable and memorable in my eyes. Also, when he first gets the Omnitrix, it's pretty unique concept, I feel, and it was pretty memorable of him getting that. So yeah, I had to go with Ben 10 here.
All right. Ben 10 is going to win it 3-0. They're going to move into that upper echelon because they get to 30 points. Gravity Falls is going to lose 10, so they're going to end up at -5. All right, we're moving along pretty quickly here. 4 battles, 4 sweeps. We move on to the main event, which is the Pink Panther show taking on the Super Friends. Pink Panther 1-0, 10 points in the division of Karen Bianco. Justice League 0-1, 0 points in the division of Bobby Lovewell. Luckily for Pink Panther, voice acting is not a category. But we start with animation style. Both are old-time shows. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Hanna-Barbera show here, Super Friends. I just feel like they used like some static backgrounds, but I feel like it was pretty good. Alex Toth's art, I feel like, was pretty significant here, and I feel like did a really good job. Pink Panther, I mean, it was they were just shorts, so I feel like they had a little bit better fluid character movement, but I feel like that was about it.
All right. Sean, go ahead.
You know what? Sorry, I want Super Friends here as well. A lot more fluent, clean. The details. And after what Dave just said, Pink Panther, like being clips, it kind of reminds me of like Tom and Jerry without Jerry.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. All right. Eric?
Yeah, I went with Super Friends too. There's more detail to the characters.
All right. So, Super Friends, it wins the first category. They're 2 away from a sweep. They're 1-0. And we move on now to cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Eric?
This is tough, but I went with, from what I read, I went with Super Friends. Because it was one of the first superhero.
Well, it was the first incarnation of the Justice League.
Yeah.
All right, Dave?
I went the other way here. I went Pink Panther. I thought it was more universal, enduring. I think it's got its place in history. Its unique, silent, stylish nature, I feel like, was a different impact as well. And what was I? Oh, and it's also got it won an Oscar for the episode of Pink Pink. So I think Pink Panther had more of an impact in the culture, but I think it is pretty close.
All right, Sean, you're breaking the tie.
Yeah, this one was hard, obviously, because Superman and all of them are iconic, but I actually picked Pink Panther here. I think they just stand out because there's nothing quite like them. And I mean, they're iconic already. but everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
And like just for that song alone, I think has made such a huge impact. I gave it to them just solely for that, honestly.
All right. Fair enough. All right. 1-1. So we're not getting a sweep here, but we move on to memorable moments. And Dave, who gets the win in memorable moments?
This one was close for me as well because they both had a little bit of memorable moments for me, like the Super Friends with going to the Hall of Justice, the headquarter itself. I feel like is an iconic visual that's pretty memorable for me. That pops in my head right away. So I think I'm going with Super Friends here. Also, like the Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was pretty memorable. I feel like it had some campy action, but you know, it was superheroes, and I feel like when you have superheroes, it's memorable.
Okay. All right, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to breathe. I have Super Friends taking this one. I just the dynamic and the format of the show alone has it set up for so many moments between heroes and villains and the battles and the contingency. I don't even know how to talk, but just put me down for Super Friends because I'm blabbering.
Gotcha. All right, Eric.
Yeah, I went with Super Friends too. I just thought they're, especially with the they talk in this. I just think there's more story. So
All right, fair enough. All right, they're up 2-1. They are one away from a victory here. Originality. Now, again, you know, the Justice League concept or the Super Friends concept have been around for a while but this is the first time it had been put into a show. Pink Panther was pretty original for its time as well. Eric, who gets the win in originality?
I went with Pink Panther.
Right.
I just think there's more originality because it was first of its kind. So.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going with Pink Panther. I think it's more original because I think it was unique in its style, dialogue free, jazz driven type music in there. Whereas Super Friends, I feel like it was more of like an adaptation of it, like existing DC comic book characters.
Right.
So they had something to really go on. Pink Panther, I think, was a little more unique.
All righty. All right, Sean.
Yeah, I went Pink Panther. I mean, like Dave said, Super Friends had something to go on. Pink Panther was, you know, somebody's random idea one day.
Yeah.
And
All
it
right.
stuck. Like, oddly enough, it stuck.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. We move on to the last category. This is going 5. We move on to character development. Who had the better character development, Sean?
Damn, I gotta give it to Super Friends. There's just so much more dynamic in the character development in Super Friends because of how many characters they have, and they did a very good job at the storytelling of them and just their whole basic premise of existence.
All right. Dave?
Yeah, I'm going with Super Friends here too. But I just feel like neither had super amount of character development here. I feel like both shows had static development, but you know the Super Friends, they had that like emphasis on teamwork and stuff like that. So I feel like there's a little more development in that nature than there was in Pink Panther.
Okay. All right, Eric?
Yeah, I went Super Friends too. Just based on the voice. Yeah.
All right. So Super Friends is going to win it 3-2. They're going to get 10 points. Pink Panther is going to get themselves 5. So only battle to go past 3 categories here today, but also Johnny Quest, Boondocks, Ben 10 move into that upper echelon. Archie show moves into the bottom tier. So now we have 13 shows that are in that top tier category of having 60 points. Ninja Turtles, Mighty Ducks the Animated Series, Muppet Babies, Magic School Bus, Elf the Animated Series, 16, Real Ghostbusters, Samurai Champloo, Black Butler. As we saw on Saturday, SWAT Cats the Radical Squadron got there. And then today, Johnny Quest, Boondocks, and Ben 10. So we got quite the week coming up. Now, Dave will not be with us at all next week. He is taking his wife out for her birthday because he is smart. But this upcoming Saturday, Animated Hour of Power, episode 24. We're only a few weeks away from the end of stage 2. But we are going to see Naruto Next Generations taking on Devilman Crybaby. Marvelous Adventures of Flapjack takes on Bobby's World. Gravedale High takes on Star Wars Droids. And in the main event, we will have Brave Star taking on DuckTales. Next, Wednesday afternoon for Animated Showdown. A Boring World Where the Concept of Dirty Jokes Doesn't Exist takes on Ishura. Care Bears takes on the Bubble Guppies. Fate Zero takes on Fairy Tale. Johnny Test takes on Steven Universe. And the main event is going to be King of the Hill taking on Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
Oof.
So we got those to look forward to. Make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Make sure to join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/When Tunes Combine. Make sure to follow Dave on Twitch at TCAXGodsent95. Make sure also to find Sean on TCAX Reaper on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Also, join the TCA community. Like and subscribe to the Unscripted Sports Show with Eric on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years podcast on YouTube as well. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday nights. This Friday night, we're finally going to get to our 2025 year-end awards. Make sure to also like and subscribe to the Dizzle97 YouTube channel. Join the Twitch. And then also like and subscribe to the Stadcast with Daniel and Mindy. All right. It was a shorter show, but that's also because this is being recorded on Saturday. So technically the Bills game is still on. It's been on for 4 days. We're in 38th overtime right now. All right. So we will see everybody on Saturday. And everybody have a good day.
Peace. Have a good night.
Later.